Shay Show. Breaking story is out. It was reported last night, but more information is coming out today. The Biden administration pulled the plug, apparently, on Trump-era State Department investigation into whether COVID-19 originated from the Wuhan Institute of Virology in China, according to Tuesday evening report by none other than CNN. Doing real reporting? Oh my God, what year is this? The effort, led by then Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, also sought to determine whether China's biological weapons program may have played a role in the pandemic. So even they're questioning that. According to the report, it was met by internal opposition. I can't imagine why. From officials who thought it was simply a politicized witch hunt to blame China for the virus. Yes, all last year, we know they poised it as a politicized witch hunt. Hey, you can't call the China virus. That's racist. Spanish flu? That's okay. Okay. According to 3 unnamed sources, when Biden was briefed on the investigation's findings in February and March, Biden pulled the plug and instead opted to trust the findings of the most credible organization known to man, World Health Organization, which conducted an investigation earlier this year and turned out to be nothing more than political theater, the cast which included a highly convicted Peter Daszak, the Fauci-funded virologist who was studying bat viruses in the Wuhan lab. Yes, thanks, Biden, for trusting the WHO. For when they went to China, China vetted the scientists that they allowed in there and, walked with them as they searched the lab. Yes, nothing says nonpartisan, bipartisan, investigation like China putting their finger on it. But I'm glad Biden pulled the plug on it because thank God. But now it's a question. So now, should we investigate Biden for pulling the plug? Fauci, how are you still in a job? Says the world, as some people don't even remember how terrible of a human being Fauci really is. Even some of my gay friends like him, and I'm like, do you not know about the whole HIV thing and the reason why it took so long for HIV to come out and all that stuff? No, you should probably do your research. It's important to know information on people and their history, especially these bureaucratic people in offices that have been there for a long time. There's probably a reason. They probably have information on somebody. Oh, man. I'm glad this is finally okay to question. Thanks, science community, for allowing us to question the origins of the Wuhan lab virus situation. Because, it was racist before to question these ideas, and now you're allowed to question. Thanks, science community, for allowing us to do actual science, allowing us to question your hypothesis. Hey, because it doesn't make sense. The bats, the pangolins, nothing of that makes sense in today's society. But the lab leak, now there's a possibility. It makes no sense why that was hushed so fast. I mean, are you with me on that? I mean, it's like if I was to be bit by a dog, wouldn't your first question be, did your own dog bite you? Because you're around her all the time. So that would always be my first question. But hey, don't question me on that because that's racist. Ask about all the other dogs that I might get in contact with. That might be the problem. It was too obvious of a question, and the fact that it was hushed so fast made us even more interested because it was like, you're just scared that China's going to be the blame for this whole COVID-19 pandemic and shutting down a whole country, people losing jobs, lives ruined, dreams like restaurant, small business ownerships ruined, smaller countries devastated by this because their healthcare system isn't as good as ours. I feel like the governments are just so worried about people holding China accountable to these actions because of how much money they pay people, and also their finger is in so much of United States politics in today's world. The U.S. Senate passed Rand Paul's amendment that would permanently ban all funding of gain-of-function research in China. Rand Paul, you're man of the year so far in my book. Any guy that goes up against Fauci and says those words, you have my vote. How is Fauci still in office? Trump, I don't understand why you didn't just kick that guy to the curb. Speaking of Trump, former President Trump says on Newsmax he has no doubt the coronavirus came from Wuhan lab. He said, I was criticized by the press because China has a lot of people taken care of. I miss hearing our president say things like that, just because he knows it's true, but he knows he's also probably not supposed to say that, and it's probably some allegations, but he's just saying China owns the press, and a lot of them. He has a lot of people taken care of, and then he said they took care of Hunter, which is it's true. They took care of Joe, and they took care of everybody, didn't they? As we watched John Cena come out and apologize for calling Taiwan a country while he's filming in China. Thanks, John Cena, you freaking idiot. I just don't. Speaking of idiot and something made in a laboratory, Marilyn Manson is wanted on active arrest warrant for snot rocket attack. God, gross. Marilyn Manson is shooting boogers. So if you see him in public, make sure you have your face mask on. It's the only way to save you. New Mexico's DEA, in her restorative justice plan for riot defendants, is defending her decision to let nearly all defendants in the Santa Fe rioting case avoid jail time, according to a new report on Fox. Of course, are you not paying attention to all these DAs letting all these people that rioted, burned down places, beat up cops, letting them out for free? Last year was because of COVID, but this year it's because it's the DAs. Know your DAs, find out information about them, and make sure they will keep your community safe and not just let criminals go because they're being paid to do so. Well, you can't say that. Iran temporarily bans mining of cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin amid electricity blackouts in major cities. Screw you, Iran. Don't try to be like Elon Musk and manipulate the market. I'm diamond hands, bro. Holding strong. Iran. Elon's like, hey, that's my game. And Deb Portnoy's like, hey, don't forget about these crap currencies that I'm invested in. Walmart apologizes. This might be my favorite story of the day, which it's also messed up, but it seems like a meme or a comedy, something a comedian would do. Walmart apologizes after racist email with the N-word is sent to hundreds of its customers around the world on the year of the George Floyd's murder, on the 1-year anniversary of George Floyd's murder, saying, welcome to Walmart, N-words. Oh my God. That's so messed up. That's so wrong. But you know, it's like some 13-year-old just doing it, or maybe somebody made an account and made that their names, and then they just pass this email around like they got it, or just some buddy on their last day of their job, just like, I'm done with Walmart. I'm just sending this stupid email. I'm sick of my boss. I'm sick of all the crap I'm dealing with. I'm gonna get on unemployment because I make more money. Welcome to Walmart N-words. Oh my gosh. I don't know what to think of that story. It's not fake though. I'll tell you that much. Anyways, extremists identified by journalists as... So extremists in Portland last night identified themselves as journalists were actually Antifa, as they reportedly attacked law enforcement officers in Portland on Tuesday night while vandalizing businesses and lighting fires around the road. I love Antifa. You know, hey, we're just journalists. We're journalists. Don't hit us, cops. And so when they do get hit or they do get arrested, they're like, cop arrest journalists in Portland. No. Those are Antifa. Black Lives Matter and Antifa hurled frozen bottles at police, which if you've ever been hit by a frozen bottle, it's no joke. Launched fireworks, torched dumpsters and as the city goes into chaos last night. Oh, Portland. They just keep going. There's no stopping these people because they don't crush them. You gotta allow the peaceful protest to happen. This isn't peaceful, and this isn't a protest. Southwest flight attendant is punched in the face and has 2 teeth knocked out by unruly passenger who's 28 years old who was told, hey, fasten your seatbelts. I'm not going to fasten my seatbelt. That's what I think. Man, on Southwest, I thought this was like a Spirit Airlines kind of vibe. Not on my flights. I'm a Southwest kind of girl, okay? Great seats, 2 free checked bags, and you're going to mess with me on that? I'm glad she was taken and arrested, but that poor flight attendant, golly. Speaking of poor people that nobody in the media tends to care about except for the BBC, the Chinese Communist government has been testing, according to the BBC, artificial intelligence, AI, on a motion detection camera system on Uyghur Muslims. I don't understand why these free Palestinian people, or if you're a Muslim in general, why aren't you posting about China and what's going on there? Why are you so obsessed with the West? I understand why, because but at the same time, that should be your main fight, is Uyghur Muslims in camps as they're apparently being tortured and also being tested on, and it kind of sounds very familiar, doesn't it? 23 states are now joining and saying no to Joe Biden's handouts as Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, a.k.a. President Future Prez, joins the revolt against $300 unemployment benefits and makes it impossible for businesses to fill jobs. Experts claim those who made $32,000 before the pandemic can now make same or more with combined benefits from state and federal government, as encouraging people to stay home. Yes, it does. And yes, maybe I know the argument is that, some of these people maybe are just changing their career path and wanting to do other things. That's also true, but there's also a ton of people. Yes, there are some also that are scared to go back to work, but there's a large chunk that are making more on unemployment. Why would you work if you make more not working? That's literally the stupidest thing in the whole world. You could take unemployment and then have side gigs under the table and make even more money. Nah. The media on Tuesday night worked to paint Fixer-Upper stars Chip and Jonah Gaines. Fixer-Uppers. I never watched that show. An interracial couple as racist for donating $1,000 to Chip's sister's local school board campaign, which aims to part and stop highly controversial critical race theory from being taught in schools. Hey, that's right. If you're against critical race theory, it's because you're racist. Don't you love how they flip it on you? When you look at critical race theory and you think, no, this is racism, they're like, hey, no, you guys are the racists, okay? I'm going to manipulate you and make you believe this delusional idea that critical race theory is actually a good thing. Separating people is good. Seeing somebody based on the color of their skin and automatically judging them, whether oppressed or the oppressor, is a good thing. It helps us. It brings us closer together. That's not racism, okay? As lines from Even the Hill, TV stars Chip and Jonah Gaines donated to campaign against critical race theory in schools. And the report from Yahoo News Insider ran from the headline, Chip and Jonah Gaines reportedly donated $1,000 to a Texas school board trying to ban teaching about systematic racism. They're so racist. Who cares? Allow people to donate wherever they want, for one. But it's their way of hyping this story up so they get canceled, they lose their TV subscription, they lose their position in the TV network and their status and everything like that. That's the real issue. As you say, Derek, I don't really see a big problem with those headlines. No. The fact that it's a story and is pushed everywhere as their way of trying to get the people that normally have heightened sense of insecurity and anxiety to freak out, lose their minds, tweet about it, and call up the TV station and ruin their lives. That's what it's all about. Because cancel culture isn't a real thing, I'm telling you. I don't even like the word cancel culture. I think it's just silencing people. That's what they want to do. Silence. Speaking of silencing people, former Seattle police chief says media downplayed violence all last year during CHOP and made it appear peaceful. Of course they did. It fit their narrative. And if something fits their narrative, like at George Floyd's yesterday, George Floyd anniversary, a lot of media places went down there and talked about it, and there was obviously a drive-by shooting or a shooting of some set where you can tell tons of ammunition was shot and there was reload periods and everything like that, but that wasn't on every news station everywhere. And because the media doesn't want you to think that area is very violent and that area is unpeaceful, and it's actually gotten better since the defunding of the police, not worse, when in fact, even on George Floyd's death anniversary, gunshots are rung out. Speaking of not fitting the narrative and the media pushing down stories, ICE deportations numbered an all-time low last month, with 2,962 illegal immigrants returned to their home countries, plummeting migration enforcement as a result of new policies Biden implemented that restricted those who qualified for deportation, and what actions ICE's authorities had given the authority to take, as Washington Post reports. Under the new Biden administration, rules curtailing immigration enforcement, ICE carried out fewer than 3,000 deportations last month, the lowest level on record. The agency's 6,000 officers currently average one arrest. The agency's 6,000 officers currently average one arrest every 2 months. ICE under President Biden is an agency on probation. The new administration has rejected calls from the Democrats to eliminate the agency entirely. But Biden has planned put ICE deportation officers on a leash so tight that some say their work is being functionally abolished. Deportations down really low as migrants have gone up and border crossings have gone up more than ever before. Everything fits the narrative. But again, we don't have a border crisis. What we have are people not enforcing laws and not being told to enforce laws either also, and the border not being finished. So it's a crisis that's been manufactured by Biden, by telling people to come across. As people come across and they say things like, we just think that we are more accepted and Biden readily accepts us, so we're going to come across because he's going to accept us and we're just going to come in and work. These ICE people why would you even arrest people? You know they're just going to try again in a day. I get the violent offenders thing. That's a huge problem, as even people in New York say, hey, we should let these people go. Come on, what world are we living in? Speaking of what world, personnel from the Joint Special Operations Command, a secretive component of the United States Military Special Operations Command, are being encouraged to attend virtual conferences on diversity, equity, and inclusion, among other topics considered beneficial for their professional development, according to multiple sources. And this is coming from Breitbart. There's nothing like special ops and special ops community that they need more than learning about how racist a lot of them are. Because nothing breeds division. I mean, unification, like separating people based on their race. It's everywhere, people. It's everywhere. And you have to keep rejecting it, or else it'll just be the main narrative and it'll be accepted as fact when it's not. Comedian Russell Brand ripped into the Democratic Party and accused it of colluding with big tech companies to censor information and influence the 2020 election. Duh! I love when some of these people are just waking up to it, as some of my friends still say, big tech doesn't censor anything. They just take down conspiracy theories. Oh, like the Wuhan lab link, where people's like whole YouTube accounts were taken down, or their videos were taken down, and their accounts were banned. Remember that? Hey, it was just, it was new information. It was conspiracy at the time. Now it's like a possibility. Only we're allowed to question science, not you. Hey, Russell, shut up. You don't get it, man. We had to do this. Trump was an evil dictator about to destroy the world. And Biden's going to make us all feel better on the inside. I love Dr. Joe Biden and Dr. Jill Biden. She's a doctor. Amazon finalizes $8.45 billion deal to buy Hollywood studio MGM, bulking up its stream library with 4,000 new movies like James Bond and The Hobbit. Yay! Amazon like, hey, we're just going to buy America. How about that? We're going to buy Greenland. It's unbelievable. Kim Kardashian, Kim K, has been trying to become a lawyer for now more than a year, but she's no closer to getting her license to practice law because she missed a passing grade on the baby bar exam. She said, I quote, "I'm a failure. Meh." Who cares? Congrats, Kim K, for doing. I think that's great, though. I'm terrible at taking tests, too, though, to be honest. But I also don't talk like this. And today in history, in 1897, the first copies of the classic vampire novel Dracula by Irish writer Bram Stoker is finally appearing in London bookshops. 1897. Have you read that book? I haven't, so don't touch me. I've seen the movies, though. Lots of them. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. Thank you guys so much for listening to The Derek O'Shea Show. I appreciate you guys so much. I hope you guys enjoy this. If you do join this, and if you're watching on video, leave me a comment below what you enjoyed, what you didn't like. Helps me learn to get this and be better at this. Or you can email me at the Derek O'Shea Show at gmail.com. Be happy to answer any of your questions. Also provide any sources if you want any sources. Again, this podcast is available on all podcast platforms via audio. Also on video, I'm on YouTube, BitChute, Rumble. Check me out there. Be sure to subscribe to me on there. Follow me on there. I appreciate you guys so much. So much. Share this with all your friends and family. Tell your friends and family. Go punch them in the face. Tell them about the Derek O'Shea Show. Say, hey, it's good news. He's funny every once in a blue moon, but it's worth listening to because he provides good information. And I hope I provide to you something different. I know there's a lot of podcasters out there that do single story podcasts on news, and some people like that. I'm too ADD. I like a bunch of stories. I like knowing about what's going on in the world a little faster too. So I hope you guys enjoy that. But let me know your thoughts. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. And as always, I'll see you on the next episode of The Derek O'Shea Show.